are listening to Sweet Tea and Sarcasm on the SVU Network.
Well, this is different. This is Sweet Tea and Sarcasm, and it is our premiere episode. And before we get started, make sure to follow us at Tea Sarcasm, capital T, capital S. And with me tonight is my co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's Sookie. Sookie. Hello.
I have no idea who you are.
Huh?
I have no idea. I'm trying to get back to the Spreaker page. I'm logged in as like 17 different people.
I'm not sure I can handle multiple personalities of you. That's my role, I thought.
Mm-hmm. So, first thing, let's establish what the heck is this show?
The result of me pestering the crap out of you to do something?
Yeah, you know me. I just wanted to be left alone and go read. And you're like, oh, we could talk about this and we could talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, but your life. When are you going to have time? So you've managed to carve out a moment of time. So
yes, I've locked myself in the back room and threatened mayhem and sedated the dog.
Well,
and,
so this show is just two gals from Louisiana who are now in Texas talking about, I don't know, all the things that we're interested in, all the things I don't get to talk about on the other show, because it is, as they used to say in the days, it's das verboten. And, but tonight we are going to talk about loosely creativity. And when we talk about creativity, and when I talk about you and creativity specifically, we don't just call it creativity, we call it the pingly. So
it is, yes. The pingly.
Let's define the pingly. You go ahead and give me your definition, and I'll give my definition for you.
The pingly is like, it's anything involving like some kind of glittery, fantasy, artsy, fartsy, mystical, magical, unicorn things.
That's what I would say in summary, but I would also add to that sort of Mother Earth, gypsy, bangles, lots of jewelry, purses, Stevie Nicks, white-winged doved, all that kind of stuff. Cats and dogs living together, horses wearing hats, horses
wearing hats, yes, definitely.
Having tea parties. So that's a way for me to describe my way I describe you. You are the pingly, basically. You're all that rolled into one, and sometimes it's a magical thing, and most of the time it can be quite disastrous. Grease trap.
And humorous.
Yeah. Grease trap. Anyway, so
there was no pingly in that.
And pingly came about maybe a few years ago, but I realize you've always been this way, but I was not aware of it till I was a bit older, and what it means and how important it is. And lately, I think we've both been like, as I've moved to Texas and I got married and I got blah, 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 and life gets more complicated and complex and busy. Sometimes we don't get to express the pingly, especially you. So we're going to talk about what is repressed pingly syndrome.
Yeah, repressed pingly syndrome is extremely painful. I don't think I don't think it's personally fatal, but it could be fatal to others. It's when you're forced to, because, there are bills to pay and people to take care of, and animals, and the drudgery of everyday life, and you have these things that you these tasks and things you have to do, but you don't have time to be creative. And I like to draw and paint and write and make jewelry and all that kind of stuff, and I can't do it. And when I can't do it, it makes me a little crazy. So, and things happen, and well, there you go, repressed Pingley syndrome.
Yeah, and you are like irritatingly talented. Like,
Oh,
it ticks me off how talented you are. Like, I just want to slap the crap out of you sometimes, just because. And I used to be much more creative. All I had was basically Photoshop, but and I used to be cranking out stuff like 3 little pieces of artwork, digital artwork a day, and I don't know what happened. Something inside me just died.
I think you still have it in you. I think you've just I think you've got repressed Pingley syndrome, because I could say the same thing. I was cranking out stuff too, and I can't do it now because, no time.
Yeah,
But,
although I've managed to sneak some time in somewhere not appropriate, but I got to do something, I have been recently tackling Adobe After Effects, and
that's cool.
I was in an environment where I can't swear out loud. I just can't do it. But like all Adobe products,
Right.
you'll wear it out. You'll make a sailor go, dang, cut that out. But so I'm going to tackle that, and I'm going to go back and do some more Premiere videos and to learn. And I'm going to conquer. I'm hoping by the end of the year I will have conquered both of those programs, and then I'm going to attack InDesign. So I will probably try to get all of Creative Suite soon.
I think you can do it.
Well, I've already done it so far, and I couldn't believe how well it's gone now. I had to go back with, it's a Udemy video, and I had to go back and hit the rewind 15 seconds. Like, this guy's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, stop, rewind, stop, rewind, stop, rewind. It's just like, he goes so fast, and I'm just... But because I'm so familiar with Adobe products and the layout, and I know how to find all their hidden things, and, so that's going pretty good. I think that might help. I can see things I can do with animation. And, pardon me, my husband is dying.
It the mention of After Effects, and he just has an asthma attack.
Way.
I think we've got dead air here, so are you still there? Okay. All right, so anyway.
Okay.
So things we've done. So we've done that. Sherilyn's Surlana is I know. I screwed it up yet again.
Well, we were just saying, because the repressed Pingley syndrome, and how serious is it? What repercussions have there been to your family when you've gone long enough without expressing yourself creatively?
There's a lot of crankiness. And then I don't know. There's a lot of crankiness that goes on when I don't get to do what I feel like I need to do. And I think it usually results in me staying up, like pulling a late nighter and missing a lot of sleep, and then I'm even more cranky. But I think that's about the gist of it.
Oh, there's got to be more than that. I have to think about something you've done in the past that you told me about, and it was like, whoa. But okay, so some of the creative things you said
remember.
you've done is you do traditional art like painting and whatnot, but you also work with that sculpture clay stuff to make jewelry and stuff like that. Femo clay, and you do digital art. You're the one who got me into that years and years ago when I got my first bootleg copy of Photoshop. Do you remember bootleg copies? Oh, those were the days.
Remember those days.
Those were so great. Somebody showed me an Adobe Photoshop 5.0 box. I'm not version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's like, well, what should we do with this? I said, send it to a museum or just throw it away. It's just nobody any good. But what are some of the things? Are you able to do anything creative lately?
The only thing I have done lately is I've done some real quick little photo manipulations, and I've got various and sundry crazy owl sketches.
Yes, those are awesome.
On notes in my office because I get frustrated and I just draw funny-looking little owls.
You and I are like that. We'll do art therapy when we get upset, and sometimes it's done in a mocking way. But, and I'll take a picture and send it to you and, just to see if I can get you to spit your tea out. And
right. Most of our stuff has been just an effort to crack the other one up.
And it used to be better back in the day before I moved down to Texas. I had a lot of time on my hands before I moved here. And I remember you working at a different place way down south. Right. And I said something to you in chat while you were at work, and you had to get up and leave so you wouldn't cry.
It was something involving made-up German names is all I remember. And I had to get up and go to the bathroom and hide until I got a hold of myself.
Oh, man, those were terrible. The days.
And the bathroom was downstairs, so I had to walk past the boss's office looking like I was choking. So... yeah, that was interesting.
I remember you complaining about your workplace and coworkers, and I think I just typed, just stab them. Just get out a knife and stab them.
Yes, stabbing is. I think stabbing comes out of. I think that's one of the side effects of repressed Pingley syndrome.
It's deadly. If you don't let your wife, your daughter, your sister, your significant other express the Pingley, there's serious repercussions. One of you could choke to death, potentially.
It could, or be choked to death, yes. Okay. That could happen.
So, what are some of the things that inspire you?
Music and stuff I see, like just random things I see can inspire me to want to paint or write a story, or like I over to a kid's house today, and on the way over there was this, it was like someone had an idea for a house that they were going to build and live in, and it was like an idea, and somewhere in the middle of the idea they just kind of lost their train of thought and it all fell apart. And that's pretty much how this house looked. And I thought, wow, I bet that there is a real story either behind that house or living in it. It was kind of creepy, so I'm not really sure it was it was a good story, but I was like, there's a real story in that. And so it's things like that, and then of course I'm inspired by other books and other movies and other artwork that I see. I get inspired by, so, but a lot of times just day to day, it's just, can be anything. Conversations with people, and my brain is off.
You're notorious from stealing things from me.
Well, yes, that's That's what I'm there
I'd
for.
be like, no, I just copywrote that. You can't do it.
I usually give credit. Usually.
But you've got so many ideas that you'll tell me about on the phone or somewhere. Like, oh, I thought about this kind of thing. Wouldn't it be cool to write about this? And I'm like, would you stop it? For heaven's sake, some of us are dead inside.
You just keep telling yourself that. You're not really. I have creative ADD.
You do. Oh my gosh, you got it in the worst way.
I can't stop it. Like I was telling someone we both know that you're doing video work for. I was telling him the other day that I was going to duct tape my muse and stuff her in a closet because ideas are bumping around in my head and I can't do anything about them because I don't have time. So, yeah.
The closest I got was making some silly memes in Photoshop, and I enjoyed that, but I ran out of ideas, and I still have the Jane Austen one. I still have as my desktop background at work.
That was a wonderful one.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Kim. It was one of the Kardashian women.
Yeah, I think it was Kim Kardashian.
And she said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard on the face of the earth. And then I have Lizzie Bennett saying, girl, please. It's perfect. So this is a forum where it's a safe place for Jane Austen talk.
Yes.
And, as my husband flees the room yet again because he's choking to death. I should probably be concerned, but he does.
Jane Austen makes him choke. That's terrible.
He told me. He goes, I don't hate Jane Austen. You know, like you didn't even know her. Anyway, so she inspires creativity out the wazoo.
Oh, heck yeah.
She created, I think, the first really great romance novel.
Yes.
And since then, everything has exploded from that. Yeah,
the basic plot, the tenets she used just ever after were followed by every other as a formula for millions of other romance novels. So
it's like, you know, girl meets boy, girl hates boy, boy's like can't resist that. You know, but she has inspired adaptation after adaptation, book after book. You've got alternate endings, alternate beginnings, alternate middles, retellings, stories inspired by that take, you know, will start with canon and go off on their own, and then some that are rather salacious. And
right.
Because, you know, that was a time when strict propriety, and you did not go anywhere as a woman alone unless you had a maid companion or a male servant to watch out after you, and you were not alone with any man that was not your father or your brother unless you had a chaperone. So it was a different time, and so I think trying to read her in the modern era is probably like trying to read Shakespeare for some. You're like, can I get the Cliff Notes to this and read it in modern, normal English?
Well, people have so little patience for reading anything of any depth anymore anyway.
She's too clever. She's kind of Shakespearean in that he was very clever with his the way he worded things. Now, it's archaic to us now, whereas she's a little bit more accessible as far as, you know, being able to understand the way things are written.
Right.
So, sorry, distracted by the husband there. But I meant to tell you, they're going to re-air / broadcast, however you would put it, Lizzie Bennett Diaries in real time, like the way they did it the first time they did it in 2013. So I guess that's going to be back on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's something I keep going on and on about because that is a modern adaptation. And it was the first time anybody took Pride and Prejudice, the story, and brought it to new media, which is YouTube. So
Yeah.
they had to do the entire story as a vlog. And she would tell you about what's going on in her life. And you never saw half of the people she's talking about until maybe later, which is a really interesting way. That way you get a very prejudiced view. You only have her word for it, which is an interesting twist. You would like, I wonder what Jane would have thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Interpreting it into new media really made it more interesting, and I loved how it drew you in. I mean, the fact that it was her talking to you, and it was very personal. It was a very personal telling of the story. Mm-hmm. So, and you're right, it was prejudice because you viewed everything subjectively through, her eyes.
And it's only until or whoever, her sisters would get in there and give you a different point of view.
Her and her sisters. Yeah.
And I love her sister, the girl. If anybody watches The Big Bang Theory, the more recent shows, or like in the last year, the girl with the red hair that's Raj's girlfriend, she plays Jane Bennett in the Lizzie Bennett Diaries, and she's so cute. She does this wonderful deer in headlights look that I just adore in Lizzie Bennett.
She's great at that.
The only thing they missed the mark on was Mr. Collins. He's too adorable. He's not the least bit repulsive. You're like, oh, he's so cute. And he has his own channel. The guy Maxwell, whoever is that played that, and he's too cute.
Yeah, he is.
And I just thought it was really interesting where you get to watch 60 YouTube episodes. You never see Darcy.
Right.
He's just somebody she complains about.
Yeah, they really built that character up. And the suspense on that was just, everybody was just dying to get a glimpse of him.
And when you first got a glimpse of him, you didn't get to see his face. You just saw neck down, I think. Yeah,
you just saw like a shoulder and, his waist. It was pretty funny.
And boy, was he a good-looking piece of... Anyway.
Yeah.
So, but her as an inspiration... I think a lot of women were inspired by the 1996 adaptation that had Colin Firth. I think Colin Firth inspires a lot of women.
Well, yes.
And that scene, it's not in the book. It's not in the book where he's he dives into the pond and he comes out. He's clothed, but he's all dripping wet, and she's like, her pupils dilate when she sees him.
She has the vapors.
Yeah. But I just think she inspires a lot of creativity because we're so intrigued with that story because there's a way you can bring it in a modern era where, you've got a story that's mired in the social niceties of the day that we don't have now. We don't have these strong class struggles, although you could argue that we do, but it's not like they did over there in that time, which was very defined. Like, those lines did not cross.
No.
If you came from new money or you actually worked for a living and earned money and you didn't, like, just wake up and inherit it from a long line of rich people, those two did not cross. But it was just the beginning, right before the Victorian era, where it was the lines were starting to get blurred, and the aristocracy was starting to shrink.
Yes.
There was getting to be more merchants and whatnot. Anyway, so I digress from that, but I think you and I are really into romance novels as far as what she's inspired, but and it's great that Amazon has something for everybody, to each his own. If I don't like it, then I just don't have to read it. If I don't like it, I don't have to listen. I don't have to watch. But I'm sorry, some of those book covers have it coming.
Oh my gosh. Yes. The worst ever. It's like, how many times can you see the same
Torso.
bare-chested guy and poorly pasted onto some kind of background? And
now some of them are professional looking, but it's like there's like a clip art of 20 men's torsos, and they just get recycled
over and over again.
And then you get these ones that are, it's like they go out of their way to think of the most ridiculous book title. And I got to hand it to him for creativity on this, for coming up with the most genres in one book. The guy is a lumberjack shape-shifting bear. But he's Episcopalian. I don't know. So, that kind of... And I'm not making that up. I am not making that up at all.
The whole paranormal thing just really went off the rails. I mean, and I think part of it was because of all the independent publishing that happened, because anybody can publish. Anybody can publish on Amazon.
Which
anybody can.
So
because you can doesn't mean you should.
Flipping tempting. Just to show them how it's done.
Yes. But, that started that, and then I hesitate to even say the name, Twilight. It like...
well, what about 50 Shades of Grey? Now, if these are your things, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying I personally don't get it, but whatever.
Well, when the whole shifter thing started, with the paranormal romance, it was like, okay, well, people thought, well, werewolves have been done. So, shape-shifting wolves have been done. So what else can we do?
Bears, tigers, leopards,
motorcycles,
dinosaurs. There's a guy that talks about gay dinosaur romance novels where the dinosaur and the man are gay, or because if a man loves a dinosaur, I mean, I guess it's none of my business. Well,
no, but yeah, there are some. It's kind of crazy, and any manner of scenario just about you could come up with. Somebody has already thought of it and written a book about it, a romance novel about it. So it's crazy, but I guess there are niche genres, I guess, for everybody.
Like I said, there's something for everybody, and I remember a time when none of that existed. It's just like, I guess when we got Kindle and self-publishing, all bets are off. Anybody, it just exploded, and I guess that's everybody wins in that you've got something to choose. But having to filter that stuff out because I don't want to see it is tough. It's very narrow set of things I want to read. Mostly it has to be unlimited, Kindle Unlimited. But, I just go in there every day and I see a book title, or for a while I was collecting them just to send them to you to see if you just happen to glance at your phone and spit tea across the room. But
that was pretty much what that was all about, is let's find the weirdest idea and the craziest cover to go with it, and let's send it to me, or me send it to you, and see who spits tea out on their phone, because that was the ultimate goal.
It's werebear. So not only are they a shapeshifter, but they're governed by the moon, and they're lumberjacks. I'm not making it up. I'm not.
I know you're not. I saw the book cover. It's crazy.
I'm looking at some of them right now. Yeah. Oh, if it's not the torso, it's the crotch. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing they like to.
Now, is that something you can talk about? Is you have experience creating book covers for other people, or
Yes, I do book covers for uh, writers. I mean, I write too, but and do my own covers, but I also do covers for other people.
so it's not like
Um,
you don't know what you're talking about.
no, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I do.
And I
Um,
saw the one you did for I guess I don't know if she's a romance or mystery drama writer, but it was really good.
yeah,
And
that
yeah.
yeah, that was for Dawn Yurkus or Dr. Yurkus, I think is her author name, and I did several books for her, and they she has a series out about a made up little town and this family of brothers called Carters, and it has like there's a murder mystery and some suspense and dramas kind of woven in her book. So the covers were pretty fun to put together.
Mhm.
They were all stock art and stuff. But those book covers are fun. They're creative outlets. You get to you know, try and get the author's idea, their image for what the book is about. You try and translate that in graphics on a cover. So that's a fun creative thing.
That'd be something I like to do. Now I've been cranking out flyers at work, and that sort of kind of helped, kindle a few sparks creatively. People will go, "We have an event. Here's time, date, place. What's it about?" And then that's it. And I'm like, okay, then I have to go make up a look for it, and I'm like, okay. Thank goodness we have a stock art account at work, or.
Yeah, it used to be you could go to Dollar Photo, but then Adobe swallowed them up. So
Man.
Yeah, you used to could buy I think it was for $10 or something, and you could get there was a limited number of downloads you could get, or it was a limited time, but you could go in there and they had some pretty nice, stock images of stock and things and backgrounds and cars and whatever you needed for your cover. And so it was a really cool deal, but then Adobe got a hold of it, and now it's you have to sign over your firstborn, and they have to take blood with the sacrificial dagger under the full moon, and while someone strangles a chicken in the background. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, you know what? For the longest time, for years, when I thought of you, and your Pingley, let's call it, or what makes you Pingley, I always associated you in my mind with the movie Lady Hawk.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, totally.
That whole look and the story, and it just, of course you've got shape-shifting in that, but it's not because they want to. They're under a curse, but...
Right. That movie has everything, it's got,
humor.
It's funny, and it's got, tragic
people, unattractive people.
And you've got your evil villain and your hero, and yeah, it's got horses, It's got beautiful Frisian horse in that movie.
Are those the sexy horses that have the Fabio hair?
Yeah, the Fabio hair. They're the big black ones, with the Fabio hair, and
Do those
Yeah.
horses know they're pretty? Because they strut like they know they're pretty.
Yeah, they're bound to know that. They're worth thousands of dollars.
So they're like the runway models of horses.
Right, right. They are. They totally are. And you see them in, all kind of movies. Like, I mean, just about any time you have a movie where they're going to have knights and, it's like a historical or fantasy or something like that. You're going to see it. Case in point, the Outlander series that's currently running, which I love. I love that book too. It's just, there's Frisians in just about every episode. But they're big, beautiful black horses with long flowing manes and tails. And anyway,
Fabio. I just call them the Fabio horse.
The Fabio horse.
Or Fabio Frisians. And you would know, because how many horses are you up to now?
6.
Aren't you flipping one of those, or?
Flipping. I'm not flipping one. No, I'm not going out in the pasture and flip. No, I'm not flipping anyway. I'm trying to get, I'm going to hopefully get one adopted into a good home. I would not let her go to anyone but a good home. And she's a very sweet horse that my horse rescue group rescued, and she was about to be sent off to slaughter, and we stopped that, and I brought her here, and in the hopes of putting a little time in the saddle on her and getting her to where she would be a good horse for somebody. I think she would be great for a young girl or a smaller adult. She's very calm and very sweet.
All your horses are pretty. I don't know if that's just you're attracted to the prettier ones, or maybe all horses are pretty.
I am attracted to prettier ones, and no, all horses are not pretty. I have seen some that are. As a matter of fact, there was one we rescued that we nicknamed Fugly. And he was, bless his heart, but he didn't have to go to slaughter, so that was good for him.
Well, everybody deserves a chance.
That's right. That is right.
And they inspire you too. I mean,
oh, they do.
I've even done artwork with your horses. I've gone to your place and taken pictures, and
Oh yeah. You've posted them on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. You've done some really nice photography for me, and I even have a really beautiful photo manipulation of where you put wings on one of my horses in my room right now.
That was
yeah. So, yeah, they're very inspirational.
Well, I don't know if you had a chance to go back and watch this movie, but we were going to talk about an inspirational movie, music and lyrics with Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore. And I haven't watched it recently, but I've seen it more than once. And first of all, does Hugh Grant just play himself in every romance movie he's in? Like,
over and over.
What's the one he did with Sandra Bullock? Can't think of the name of that one.
2 weeks notice?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks notice. That's a really great, I mean, I love Sandy Bullock anyway, but yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Was he in Love Actually?
Yes, he was.
Same character there.
Same character there.
Awkward, and sort of sarcastic British guy,
right.
English guy.
He's either the main love interest or he's the ex-boyfriend. Of course, we know him in Bridget Jones. All those which are adaptations.
I think he played Wickham. Of course, Darcy was Darcy. No, they didn't even try. They didn't even try to cover it up.
No, they didn't even. They flaunted that. But yeah, and then of course Bridget. That's like a total derivative of Elizabeth. So. But yeah, now I have seen him in a couple of movies where he kind of plays kind of a sleazy kind of guy, but it's really hard to think of him outside of this kind of nice, bumbling, and Notting Hill was the other movie.
Notting Hill, About a Boy. Same
Yeah,
character.
About a Boy. It's another one. Yeah. Um, he always plays this kind of bumbling, nice guy who gets himself into some kind of mess. Um, and
And we
in the
fall for it
process,
every time.
you know, huh?
And we fall for it every time and watch it every time.
Oh yeah, every time he plays it so well, you know.
Well, I like
But
about the movie music and lyrics, because it has to do a little bit with creativity. Where she was in college and she was doing really well writing poetry and creative writing, and she was really she got published or something, and she got involved with her professor, and he went kind of stabbed her in the back, wrote a book that was based on her, and it really hurt her. So I think that kind of killed her creativity. So she wasn't doing anything anymore with that. And she just sort of chance meets up with Hugh Grant's character. And I love that scene where he's trying to write a song and he's got a professional songwriter the agency sent him. And the guy's like a goth, emo
right.
weirdo, and he's like trying to write about death and evil spells and witches and Satan, and that's so not what Hugh's character is about. He's like an old 80s pop star.
Yeah, they kind of have him done up as the group he was in was kind of like Wham or
It's a cross between Wham and Duran Duran almost.
Duran Duran. Yeah, yeah, they have him like they show clips where he's like duded up to look kind of like Simon Le Bon, you know, and it's pretty funny.
But the music in that's supposed to be his band's old music is really nice. It's so perfect for that, what was supposed to have been the 80s.
Right.
It's got catchy, But
right.
It's like he had lost his mojo because when he was in his band, the lead singer wrote the lyrics and he would write the music. So he wasn't used to writing lyrics, and she was used to writing, not necessarily lyrics, but just writing, and they sort of ended up with this giant hit. It's just a cute movie.
Very cute, yeah. There's the whole usual plot where, boy meets girl, boy and girl hit it off.
There's the conflict, the falling out.
Yeah, they have a conflict, or there's some big hurdle they have to get over. They get over it, but then they have a fight, and then it looks like all is lost, and then at the very end, they get back together. It's just
like a romance novel. Unfortunately, it's formulaic, but how else are you going to create the tension and keep the readers or the viewers' attention?
Well, and I mean, it's formulaic, but it works. I mean, it works. That's the basic formula for any.
I can hear that.
Colin agrees. He agrees. I'm not opening the door. He'll come get on the keyboard. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's formulaic, but it works. And I mean, it's almost like, romance writers over the years have trained people to expect that kind of thing to happen. And I mean, it has to, because to hold your interest, you have to have that, you have to have the conflict and the okay.
Well, he says in that movie, about pop music. Pop music is formulaic too. You've got your first verse, chorus, second verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and then maybe one more verse, and then the chorus. And that's how we're trained to listen to modern music. But he says in that movie, he starts quoting, "I got sunshine on a cloudy day." He goes, "I'll take that over anything else. That is pure poetry." Some of the older music is, still got great lyrics. And he was trying to convince her that pop music can have relevancy and real meaning. So again, it's a good movie. It's a cute romance, but it's got a story. It's got a message, and then The girl who plays Drew Barrymore's older sister in that movie, I can't think of her name, but I love her. I wish
I can't think
she
of
was
her name
in more
either, from
things.
Third Rock from the Sun, and was perfect for her because she always kind of plays this spastic, kind of klutzy,
She was so good.
really
on Third Rock.
outgoing, person, So it was that was a perfect part for her.
Okay, now we've reached the freeform part. You got anything you want to talk about? I mean, I want to hog everything.
Well, we're going to talk about, the creativity.
Well, let's talk about the things we don't want to do anymore.
Oh gosh, yeah, let's talk about that.
I think
Let's
you
talk
and
about
I don't want to do web development anymore. And I'm
Oh,
pretty
no
much
more.
not doing it really, not
Yeah,
professionally.
I'm so over it completely. It's ceased to be the creative thing that it once was.
Mhm.
So
I know
yeah,
you were
I'm over
upset
that.
about Wix buying Deviant Art.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I don't feel good about that at all. A lot of people are like, well, why? And I don't know. DeviantArt was such a kind of a grassroots,
Mhm.
I don't know. It just seemed very like a close knit group of people who had this dream for this art community, and now I'm afraid it's going to be all corporate. I don't feel good about it. Not that I'm on there that much anymore. I used to
Me
be on
either.
there a lot more
I
because
even
I
canceled
was
my
doing a lot more artwork. But
I canceled my paid subscription. Is what no
yeah,
point in it.
I don't have a subscription there anymore either. I mean I have an account there, but it's not the paid one
Mhm.
anymore.
I don't know what that will mean for DeviantArt. I mean, it would be stupid of them to really go in there and shake things up. Now, who is it that bought Tumblr? It was like Yahoo bought Tumblr, but they've been hands off. Like I've noticed any significant changes there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not real. I don't do Tumblr as much as I used to. So
I got into it when I was watching Lizzie Bennett Diaries because there was a big fan community that would, have really interesting things there to say about it. And I was using it for research when I had to do that conference paper. But since then, once I got involved in this internet program with the husband here, that's all kind of died off. And I kind of picked it back up because they're supposed to be doing... now, the girl who played Lizzie Bennett, Ashley Clements, is writing... I don't know if it's a screenplay or just a script, and it's called The Lizzie Bennett Wedding.
Oh, well, that's going to be very interesting. I know a lot of people will be wanting to see that because, I mean, they had like such a huge following and still do.
They still do. I remember some of the people would, there would just be thousands and thousands of comments below each video, and at the very, very last one, somebody wrote on there, "I will never unsubscribe," even though there's nothing going on there. But that interested me because it wasn't just that you have Pride and Prejudice being told modern day vlog. They even went into the social media and created accounts for the characters, and they would tweet and do social media as the characters. Not the actors, but whoever was running, behind the scenes as the characters. So you got to see them talking to each other in real time alongside the videos. And it's all still there. Like, you can go back and see it. And that's when I was writing the paper, I was addressing all that. And it was Never been done before. And the guy whose idea it was is Hank Green. And his brother John Green wrote, what's that? The Fault in Our Stars or something like that. He's a writer.
Fault in Our Stars.
But Hank Green founded VidCon. So he's well known. And there's an episode where Lizzie Bennett goes to VidCon and meets him. So it's kind of like a little Easter egg. But it was just like, I wonder if you could take this into new media. And it was just, you know me, I'm a huge nerd. I was an English major, literature fan, traditional literature fan. And that was just the most amazing thing to me to see that. But they've gone and they tried to do 3 more adaptations. It didn't quite get there, unfortunately.
No. Yeah.
I have not seen Anne of Green Gables yet.
Yeah, I think I tried to watch the second one that they did, and I couldn't get into it. It just didn't seem to have the same chemistry, or maybe the same writing. Even the writing wasn't as good. I don't know. It just didn't.
Well, they tried to do Sanditon, which was an unfinished Jane Austen novel, which I never read. And they tried to just fill it out. But I think Emma was supposed to be pretty good, but I don't know where it just lost me.
Yeah. No, he won't go away.
Khan's meow's not very manly.
He's going to have to get his own show.
Well, I'll get Muffin back in here and they can talk.
That's what we can do. They can
this
talk.
Show should be a cat-safe zone. If they want to come in and have a forum, they should be able to have their forum.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. Agreed. This is a cat-safe zone.
And
unless they stick
horses.
Their heads in our tea, and then they're in trouble.
Now, I know you're really jealous of me because I found out Monday at my workplace, they say they're going to have live birds of prey there from the Audubon Society, which I guess is from our zoo. And they have pictures of eagles and owls. I'm like, oh!
Owls! Owls!
And I was like, I can't wait to see that. That's supposed to be at 11:30 in the Welcome Center. It's not very well. So that would be awesome if that was a permanent display. Can you imagine freshman students coming in and there's these big predators and birds? And
well,
buzzards.
That might, take care of some of the vagrant traffic that you guys get, that comes in to where you work.
Oh, yeah. There's been a couple of homeless people just because, there's no... You could just walk in to the building. Yeah. And there's always things of we have sort of this outbreak. We'll go for a while, everything will be fine, and there'll be some indecent exposures. And the funniest one happened, maybe it was sometime last year, where some person, I don't know who it was, mooned some people, just mooned them, and they took him to the crazy house.
Oh my gosh!
They literally took him. The cops came and got him and took him for psychiatric review. Because if you moon someone, you're definitely not in your right mind. I mean, of all the things you can do, that's pretty mild.
Yeah, I mean, if that's an indication, and let's just say that people we know. I'm not saying anything else.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's not bring that up.
Hey, it was the 80s. We all did crazy things.
Yeah. In the 80s, we all did crazy things. We'll leave it at that.
Well, not me, because I was a child.
Well, yeah. You missed that part of it.
Somebody in our chat saying they have a falconry at their work. They wear radios to listen to stat commands. Okay. I don't know if that's true, but that's dang funny.
That is pretty funny.
That would be
It's pretty
awesome.
funny.
All right. So you think you'd want to do this again next month?
Yes, I think maybe next month we'll be a little bit more ready. We only had, what, 2 weeks to try and pull ourselves together to do this, and
Cause spring has sprung in Houston, and it has come in a green, yellow river of pollen, and we're just dying.
yeah,
We've got headaches, we've got migraines, we're coughing, we're sneezing, we're stuffing up. We're just not happy. And then in a week or two, we've got to spring forward. And I'm not happy about it. I don't like spring.
I
I'll punch
I
you in
don't
the
ever
face.
do this. I don't ever do the spring forward well, or the fall backward for that matter.
Why can't we just pick one and stick with it? I
Yeah,
mean,
why can't we pick
Arizona
one?
does that.
We could just, go 30 minutes one way or the other and then just leave it there. Care which way, just, anyway. I don't ever adjust well. It always takes me weeks to get used to the time change.
Mm-mm.
But, yeah, I think we ought to do it again. I mean, we had some great ideas for the next one, so.
Was the next one we were going to talk about movie?
Yeah, why we love, my mind just blanked out.
Was it why we like The Fifth Element?
Why we love The Fifth Element.
I'll do some bullet points with that one, and we'll really flesh that out. And we like that one. And if you like The Fifth Element and you like it for the things we do, or even partially, then you're going to be blown away, I think, by what's coming out. Is it this year? Valerian?
Is it this year? Isn't it the summer? Is it coming out late summer?
Same director, French director Luc Besson.
Yeah.
It's like The Fifth Element on crack cocaine, steroids, and LSD. It is like
The Fifth Element was already on that.
Well, this is visually stunning, and this is like dense with stuff. So
I'm excited about it. I saw the previews for it, and I'm really hyped about it. Can't wait to see it. I love a good sci-fi movie anyway, but this promises to be just great. So I hope it is. I hope I'm not disappointed.
I think it will be interesting. I don't think it'll be a bad time. So, I mean, if he gives it what he gave it to Fifth Element, I think it should be good. But anyway, so let's do some housekeeping. So that'll be, what do you think, next month?
Next month, yeah.
First Friday of the month? Is that what we're doing? Or looking at my husband? Because he graciously allowed us to have tonight's time slot of 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Friday night, which is normally for Space Boy music, as it should be. So next week, Space Boy music will be back at this time on this slot. So if you were looking for that, it'll be back next week and the week after, and up till through the end of this month. So big thank you to Space Boy. So
yes.
I will keep you informed on social media. Please follow us at Tea Sarcasm on Twitter.
Yes, we will be on there tweeting away.
Okay, so we will see you then. And anything to add there?
Nope, I just raise a glass of tea and join us, and we'll talk about more fun stuff.
We'll be ready and raring to go by then. So we shall see you in April.
Okay.
In March, April. Yeah.